Hello, I and I. Hello, I and I. So I was having this amazing conversation with my younger brother, and he basically said to me that he was asking me, what do I believe is my reason that he showed me basically a study, and it showed that black women choose black men the most, and black men choose black women the least. Yeah, and out of all other races, black women get chosen the least. Yeah. And then also in regards to black men actually get chosen the most by black women, but they also get chosen the least out of any other race. Yeah. Now, he said to me, why do I think black women still choose black men over and over and over again? And I said, you need to see it as this. For me, I believe that at the end of the day, black women, we are the ones that we birth you guys. We birth you. So of course, how can we then hate you? That's why we are so forgiving. That's why we keep accepting you back. That's why we keep wanting you over and over and over again. And also you need to remember this. Of course, the whole reason why we want to reproduce, etc., that we have that biological need is because we feel like if we reproduce, then that it gives us, we extend our lifeline, okay? Because then our kids get on to live longer, etc. But of course, also there's a biological need to want to replicate yourself, okay? So even though people want it to make it out to seem like, oh my God, you know, like it's wrong to sort of have a preference or to want to date in your race or whatever. There isn't. It's literally human nature. Of course, you want to replicate yourself, so you see yourself as extending your own lifeline. Okay, now, in regards to with the whole thing with black women, I just genuinely believe that because we birth the sons, the fathers, the grandfathers, etc., uncles, etc., etc., we just have that loving as that motherly love. You know, your mother will forgive you and forgive you and forgive you. She'll say this, she'll chat rubbish, she'll say, oh, I never forgive you, but you know your mom's gonna forgive you, okay? Now, my brother made a really good point, and he said he said he believed, okay, that black boys grow up watching their mums not get chosen over and over again, and then it looks like their dads have all the options, have all these different racial people after them, etc. Say for instance their dad dated outside of the race, or had, you know, was a player, etc., etc. So they grew up in an environment where they see the black woman not getting chosen over and over again, and it looks like the man has all these options. But remember, okay, it only looks like that, right? Especially when they're still young, etc. But once men get into the later ages of years, they are lonely. And the fact that my brother did actually point on is men feel like they've got all these options and all these other women from other races want them, but in reality, if you only get a certain caliber of gal, like, and I'm not saying that love doesn't exist in between interracial marriages, etc. That's common. Like, let's be real. It's 2023, and I must love whoever I loves. Okay, there's freedom in that. I. But men, a lot of black men will think that they've got all these opportunities, when in reality, a lot of the time, the other racial women that will date them are not of high caliber. Yeah, so even if the black man, a lot of the time, black men, if they date outside of their race, they marry down. Okay, now I'm not saying black women don't marry outside of their race, they do, but in reality, black women, when they do, and it's more rarer, but when they do, they are marrying up. And a lot of the time, black women who marry outside of their race, it's literally because they've just felt like, you know, they've dated black guys, etc., and they just haven't found somebody that is willing to commit to them, look after them, be a financial provider, etc. So they have these reasons as to why they date outside of their race, okay? Whereas with a lot of black men, etc., they will have these fickle reasons, such as, which brings me to another point actually, which my partner says. So everybody's giving me their theory on why they believe that black men choose black women less compared to black women choosing black men. And my partner, who's mixed race, he believes that the reason why a lot of black men choose these other races is because of ease. He says that, listen, a lot of men, they don't want a woman that will hold them accountable. They don't want a woman that will, get on to them about things, etc. So they will choose the easier option. And in their eyes, they believe dating outside of their race is going to give them less stress. Now, I understand that theory as well, etc. So there's all these different theories and all these different things, but I say, regardless of anything, it's us women that really need to buckle down, because we cannot be the victims in this situation, and we are the ones that are choosing to reproduce with these men. And remember, whoever you reproduce with, then your children as well, you are then creating you are then creating a generational curse, basically, right? Because if you birth yourself and you end up being a single parent because you've decided to reproduce with an earlier, then your child as well is going to look at your situation and more likely, you know, mirror that or pattern that same similarity, okay? That's why a lot of black boys, you would think, why do a lot of black men that are raised in single parent households, why wouldn't they have so much respect for their mothers? Because they're looking at their mothers and thinking they're idiots and looking at their dads and rating it. And that's where it all goes lopsided. So what I would say to you is this, and choose your partnership and choose your partner wisely. Take time with it as well. Don't be in a rush. I feel like everyone's in a rush, especially when you're young. You're 18, you're 20, and all of this stuff, and you're rushing to get into a serious relationship, etc. You haven't even found yourself. You haven't even got to know what you really like, what you really desire. You don't even have your own personal goals. Okay, you haven't even healed your own childhood traumas, but yet you want a relationship so bad just so you can avoid being lonely. And that is don't bother getting into a relationship just because you don't want to be lonely. That's the worst thing you could ever do. Promise you that now. But yeah, I just wanted to touch on these theories. I really do think that there is nothing wrong with you wanting to date inside of your race or anything like that, but I would say to you this: don't let your need of wanting to date inside your race, okay, don't make it let you fall for anything and anyone, okay? Still be picky, I still be picky, still be choosy, okay? Because at the end of the day, your choices in partner will really affect your life and your reality, okay? Especially the longer you're in those relationships. If you're in a toxic relationship and you're in it for a long time, that can have a long-standing effect on your reality, okay? So just take time, be mindful, be ever present, and I would say don't give up. There definitely was times in my life, some points in my life where I really did think, am I really going to meet somebody that really respects me, really values me, who I'm attracted to, who I love and desire back? Like, am I really going to get that bond? Or is it going to be like what I see everyone else doing, which is just situationship after situationship, toxicity, not being able to marry, having baby fathers and baby mothers and all of this stuff, which is something that I had zero desire for. And I already made a choice a long time in my reality, in my life, that the partner that I chose would be my partner for life. And I wasn't willing to have children just to have children, okay? Because I feel like a lot of the time people feel like, everybody has to have a child. No, everybody doesn't have to have a child. Not every situation needs a child, etc., okay? If we were being a bit more picky, a bit more conscious and aware of the choices that we were making, that we would save a lot more broken families, a lot more broken hearts, a lot more broken souls. I'm not saying that you should regret any decisions that you're having or you've made in the past, but in terms of the future, I must make conscious and aware decisions. We're not animals. We're not just out here fucking anybody and anything and reproducing. No, I is a god, so I must act like one and remember who I truly is. Okay, I'll say for me personally, the reason I chose my man, and he will be my man forever, he gonna be my baby daddy, he gonna be my husband, is because every day he chooses to love, respect me, and value me unconditionally, and he never lets me guess that. He always reassures me. He never makes me feel as if I'm too much. He never makes me feel like I'm misunderstood. We have an excellent communication style. Excellent. We never let things go we never go to bed on negative terms or anything like that. And even though a lot of people say, oh my god, everybody argues, and yes, you can have disagreements, that's the truth, but it's also not healthy to always be arguing, okay? For me personally anyway, I like peace, happiness, tranquility. These things are really key and important to So I always knew that I needed a partner that also understood that as well, because I already grew up in turmoil. So I knew in my adulthood life I wanted to make sure that I had peace, everlasting peace. Okay, so if you're not willing to bring me peace, then I don't even want you in my vicinity. I am. Now with my man, like, just like little things, like my man wants to cook for me. My man wants me to come back home if I could finish later than him. My man wants me to come back home when the place is tidy. Like, my man will even catch a little bit of a mood with me if I've come back home earlier than he's expected and he hasn't got the place tidy or, you know, the food ready, etc. Like, he'll even catch a little bit of an attitude with me, because that's how much he just wants me to always be stress-free. Okay, my man would give me anything and everything that he has just in order for me to be happy, and I will do the same for him. Okay, and even though we do speak about this, but I generally feel like your man needs to love you more than you love him. And even though I love my man so much, I really do, and I feel like we love each other the same 100%, but I also feel like, of course, my man, my man loves me off. My man loves me off. He does not want to lose me. And I feel like that's extremely important, because as a woman, the love that you give is already so profound. So you want to make sure that that man loves you off. He worships the ground you walk on. And if you're ever questioning anything, if you ever have doubts, etc., then I promise you that person is not for you. Okay? Like, you want to be with somebody who makes you smile all the time, who makes you feel loved, who makes you feel secure, who makes you feel safe. Like, I feel like in this day and generation, like with this whole independent women and all of this stuff, like, it took me into my adulthood to really realize, and me meeting my man to really realize how important men are in your life, like how important a good man is, how valuable a good man is. Okay, like this whole thing of we can do it on our own, we don't need a man, we don't need it, that was the biggest lie ever sold to us. I'm telling you now, we need a good man, because when you have a good man, life is so much more easier. We are not supposed to be stressed as women. We are not supposed to be stressed as women. You're supposed to have a man that protects you, guides you, leads you. And I'm not saying that I'm even that type of person that, you know, I got myself, trust me, and I'm very confident, I'm very aware, I'm intellectual, etc. So it's not even like, oh my God, I'm this damsel in distress or nothing like that. No, but it's amazing to know that you've got somebody that has your back and can support you, and also wants the best for you, so is able, because trust me, there's certain things as a woman, like, you can get like just overwhelmed or in your feelings about something, and then your man just comes there and just sits you down and just tells you, listen, everything's going to be good. You're going to be all right. I've got you. I've got this. We are going to be good. And that alone just makes you de-stress. And I think that's one of the things that I love about being in a healthy relationship, is the fact that I've got someone that no matter what's going on in my day, I know I can go home to him and I'm going to feel at peace straight away, instantly, or I can just call or text and he's going to have my back. Even if everybody else is against me, I know for a fact my man will have my back to the death of him. Like, and I promise you this, don't fall into that trap of needing a man. Like, trust me, I manifest a man that deserves your love. Manifest a man that is worthy of your love, and make sure that you believe you're worthy of it, because you will not be able to manifest that if you do not believe you're worthy of it. But I'll leave it there, and I'll press more on it later. But I hope Anna has an amazing day.